This video is brought to you by A1 Steak Sauce. Lube up your butt cheeks. Let's eat some steak. A1. What's up, YouTube? Thedagem here with another video tutorial on how to be a good counselor in Friday the 13th, the game. So far I've covered bear traps and firecrackers, of which I'm showing off some footage of how awesome firecrackers can be when you figure out how to aim them. I love how I collect decent footage for a video only after I've posted it. Such is life. The topic today, though, are doors. I made a wild assumption in my bear traps video that you all knew by now that closing and locking the front door was important. But I guess you don't know that because I see open doors absolutely everywhere. And frankly, it angers me to a degree that I'm not comfortable admitting to anyone. Especially you. The people that do this all say the same thing, and I'll have to paraphrase, but it's essentially this. But I need to find stuff before it's all gone. These people truly believe that if they collect all the awesome crap the cabins have to offer, that there's no way they'll lose the match. And they can do this faster if they don't take the 2 seconds required to lock the door. This line of thinking is absolutely absurd. I have never won a match because I had 2 health sprays on hand when I ran out of stamina and Jason was chasing me. I've won more than my fair share because I jumped through a window and somebody I don't know set a bear trap and locked the door. I'm sick of seeing selfish loads of anal seepage leave doors open all over the camp and then rage quit the second they get caught. And it's always the selfish pricks who don't lock the doors who die first. And that sucks, because if they don't rage quit, you end up with a squishy Tommy. Don't make the game suck for everyone. It's one of the first signs of a terrible player, right up there with rage quitting and teaming. Just lock the door. Watch here. I head into the cabin, lock the door, find a map, set a bear trap, lock the back door, find a weapon and keys, and I'm ready to leave. How long did that take? Seriously. I still found some awesome stuff, and I provided a safe place to run to in the event that I'm being chased. This is how you play the game. There are tutorials all over YouTube about chopping doors down as Jason. What's the best method? Combat stance with light attacks, heavy attacks, combinations of the two, standing forwards versus standing sideways in combat stance, even doing the double tap. Now think about this. If there are this many ways of chopping down the door, and that many video tutorials for people actively seeking the fastest way to do so, then common sense should tell you that locked doors are obviously a problem for Jason. So why aren't you doing it yet? For the sake of this video, let's just focus on the most common method of door removal, holding in R2. I'd venture to guess that Jasons that hold in R2, or click it feverishly, make up at least 80% of the Jasons you'll come across. So how long does it take him to open the door using this method? Well, every Jason is different, and every weapon is different too. Folding End proved this months ago. He did an entire video on weapon and Jason combinations to figure out who chops down the door the fastest and with what. I'll post a link to that in the description below. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that it takes Jason, without destruction, 7 to 10 seconds to chop down a front door that's locked, and a Jason with destruction between 3 and 5 seconds, just by holding in R2. It's tough to tell you how long it takes to regain stamina as a counselor. Like Jason, every counselor is different, and it depends on a ton of factors. Are the lights on? What's your fear level? Is your flashlight on? Are you dancing? Do you have a weapon? Are you next to the fireplace? How injured are you? These things and more all come into play. But 8 to 13 seconds covers every counselor in the game at just about any state you could be in. So what do these numbers tell us? A ton. And you don't need to have them memorized either. Let's just put it into perspective. If you're fleeing Jason, and you enter a cabin through the window, by the time a Jason without destruction walks to the front door, chops it down and gets to you, in the worst possible case scenario, you'll have more than half your stamina back if you stood still the entire time. More often than not, though, you're 90% or fuller. You should now Have enough stamina to continue the chase however you see fit. And as long as all the doors are locked, you can cabin hop like this until something else commands Jason's attention, you find a teammate to help you, you win, or you run out of luck. If you suddenly find yourself in the presence of Jason all by your lonesome, the best way to survive is to waste his time. This will give the other counselors the time they need to fix items and take attention away from you. If Jason is chasing you for a solid 5 minutes with no success, it's a good chance he's going to leave you alone in favor of somebody else that might be easier to catch. This does happen sometimes, but more likely than that is that when Jason is chasing you, he'll morph away because something else requires his immediate attention. Examples could be a mistake at the phone box, or even a successful phone call. Someone could step in one of his bear traps, or even enter his shack. There are a ton of things that will get his attention in the game. You just need to waste his time long enough for one of them to happen. But sometimes, Jason just straight up doesn't care. He's after you. He's in Terminator mode, and you just have to deal with it. Wasting Jason's time requires that you are able to continually evade him, and part of that evasion requires that you have stamina. If the front door is wide open and you enter that cabin, Jason doesn't really have to stop giving chase, does he? You don't have the luxury of standing still and recuperating your stamina. You can close other doors in his face, and this helps, but a locked front door will help you regain much more stamina. And if you're smart and set the bear traps too, well, you already know how useful I feel those are. But locking a door to regain stamina isn't the only thing doors are good for. Closing doors in Jason's face is a great tactic. It can help you to create some distance between you and him without sprinting, which uses a lot of stamina. I jog as often as possible in an effort to conserve my stamina, so I do this move a lot. But you can have tricks up your sleeve for when he opens the door too. If he opens the door normally, rather than chopping it down, you can either hit him with a weapon or run past him. Of course, you can attack him when he chops the door down too, but the running out whenever he just opens it up, man, that's a lot of fun. There's a brief moment where he can't grab or attack, so I do these two moves very often. Sometimes, though, I'll admit, I make a poor choice. I went for the attack here, and I got caught. It's because I used a fire poker, which is not a good stun weapon. But not even the baseball bat stuns 100% of the time, so use this move at your own risk. Sure is fun, though. Here's a good one. Close the door and throw some firecrackers. Then when he opens the door and gets stunned, close the door on him again. Classic. And then you just sprint to the next cabin and waste his time some more. If you make it there, that is. If you catch him in a bear trap in the doorway, here's a move I love. You just wait for the big leg kick and run on by. There's nothing he can do to prevent it. I've been doing this move for a while now when a Jason will bear trap all the windows and thinking he's got you. But this won't be the first video on YouTube that shows this move. I don't recall where I learned this one, so I can't give credit. So what have we learned today, kids? You don't need to collect items faster than everyone else. If you're working as a team, and you should be, there's plenty enough for everyone, and most good players share items anyway. Staying alive and keeping others alive by locking the doors and being a team player keeps one more target in the game to keep Jason's attention away from you. It's one more person to save you when you need help. Win more matches. Lock the doors. I'm Thedagem and I approve this message. Now get out there and eat some steak. Or close some doors. Stay safe out there, you guys. Cheers. And happy Friday.